we're back. Main event. Folks, we're going to get into this controversy coming up, but don't forget, text us 623-252-6670 at TME Sports Show as well. Of course, like, subscribe, the free podcast, whether you catch us live here at Robat TV or if you catch us on demand. If you listen to the podcast, just follow us for it. We saw we picked up a couple more follows. All it does is get us into the system out there, and we appreciate it. An overwhelmingly amount of you guys watch us here at Robat TV, so we appreciate that. Of course, last night, we'll get into it now. Like I said, we're going to show you the whole controversy at the end of the game, at least what the IFL put out. And then we're going to talk about the press conferences out there. So first, if you missed it, first round of the playoffs last night, number 2 seed, Arizona Rattlers, number 3 seed, San Diego. And also keep in mind, this, and I wanted to ask Coach Guy this, but, I didn't want to push the envelope a little too much, because it was just raw emotion last night. This is a question that we'll have him on later on to ask him after everything settles down. But I wanted to ask him, reflect on this season, man. This was a tough season for him. Yeah. Unprecedented losing streak for him in this season. Still fought back, still got the 2nd seed as well on top of that. So there is things to be proud of this season. It's not all doom and gloom. And I think you'll realize that, as time goes on, but in that first moment, that's why I didn't ask that question last night was, you got to give them, room to digest last night.
Through all the travails, you kind of forget they start off 7-1.
Yes, and then it's 10-6. Yeah. Last, 4 in a row at one point. Highly difficult season in terms of Arizona Rattlers standards to get to this point. So there's things to be proud of out there. But if you missed it last night, controversial play at the end of the game. So Rattlers are up by 6 at this point. San Diego is driven down the field. Well, here's the play that began all the controversy here in this game.
Fires, pass caught Maldonado. He is hit and stopped shy, but I think he got to the 1. Clock is running. They whistled
9 seconds left here. They're having to line up. So pay attention. Nate Davis is number 8, the quarterback. Running the middle, 2 seconds, 1 second.
Oh, there was the butt snap, the catch. There's a marker down on the far side of the field.
So there's a lot going on there. So I want to show it to you. We'll go back and show you again. But catches the ball. They have 0 timeouts. Rattlers did a good job on their drive, having them use their timeouts. So 0 timeouts, no way to stop the clock unless they go out of bounds at this point. So the ball is caught in bounds. And they have to scramble to get out there. The replay, if you stop the replay when that ball is snapped, there's barely a 1 on that clock. It is that close of a play. Oh. But I think most time you're going to err on the side of it didn't show 0, so we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I think most leagues would do that.
Right. And what stood out to me, and obviously we had a lot of time to talk about it, through all the replays, reviews.
It was at least 10, 15 minutes of replays going on.
Is the fact I would move my microphone closer, but I don't want to touch the connection. There was disarray on San Diego's offense.
Yes.
They did not. I think they thought that Maldonado ran into the dashboard, which would stop the clock.
They thought the clock was stopped. Because Nate Davis, that's why he was where he was at. He ran to the coach to get the play.
Right.
And you don't do that if you're in this position.
No. Yeah. And so you saw that, and then everybody running, getting lined up. And, we slowed it down on the broadcast to see if any of the linemen were moving. To the naked eye, it certainly did not seem like it.
The left, and this is where I don't know the rules. I believe, unless the rules have changed, you have to be set for 1 second before any motion or anything like that. There's a time frame you have to be set for.
Well, if you have to be set before motion started, then that's illegal motion.
That's where I was like, maybe you have to be. And Coach Guy put a tweet out afterwards saying, lineman not set for 1 second before ball snapped or whatever he said. Yeah. So I believe that was the rule at one time in the IFL. I don't know if it's still. Because if you watch any other play, everybody gets set, quarterback looks at everybody, and then tells his guys to go into motion.
Yeah, because if that is the case, then that means – because that receiver just started running on his own.
Yes.
In motion.
2 of them did, yeah.
And you can have 2 guys in motion in the indoor football league, but the offensive line has to be set. If they had to be set for a full second,
he didn't do it because there wasn't enough time. But when they go and replay it, though, they got to check that stuff. So I don't know. Were the refs wrong? Is the rule changed? Kevin Guy seems to agree with me that the rule says you have to be set for extra. Like a lineman cannot just walk up, set, ball snapped. That is not allowed in the IFL, any league, to be honest with you, that I know of.
I think you have to allow the defense, because in the indoor football league, if the defensive lineman's hand's not on the ground, that's a penalty on the defense.
So let's watch it again here for what Dale just said here, and this is kind of the controversial side. You can leave the sound down. We love Floyd's voice, but Floyd Simmons, of
you're
course.
You're not going to hear me. Cut me out.
Let's watch it again here. And Kobe, just heads up. We'll probably play it a couple times as we go, right? So watch this here. So you see Nate Davis kind of going over to the sideline. Yeah. He's yelling at everybody now. He gets the play. Watch the lineman on the far left. He's swinging his arms right there, the big dude there. Okay, he might have been set in that time frame, but the defensive lineman doesn't get his hand down at that point.
Well,
it's so close. My argument, Dale, is it's so close. I'm not sure the referees could overrule any of that stuff.
Well, the thing is, the one thing that they did not do, to my knowledge, maybe they did it after the game, was there's a flag thrown on that play.
The next thing we want to talk about.
And then it was picked up.
Okay, so they never announced what the flag was for. They just got together, talked, ran down to the replay, never said what the flag was for. And I go, what's the flag for? I even have in my notes here. They didn't say what the penalty was for. If it's illegal motion, you let the play continue, and then it's a 5-yard penalty. The Rattlers had a guy moving, it would have been offsetting at that point.
Right.
But if that's a false start, plays dead on the spot, and it doesn't go into the end zone. And you get a play. You get in. I don't even know if you get an untimed down. Well, you wouldn't because it'd be an offensive. But the guy 91 against him might have been offsetting, and so you get another play from that side. I mean, the communication from the referee. Now, Kevin Guy afterwards, and we'll play this coming up, flat out said they told him it was false start. He said the refs told us it was a false start. If the refs told him it's a false start, that play is dead.
Yes.
That play is dead with no time left on the clock. Game over. Period. End of story. If that is accurate. I don't know. We're not on the field. We have no idea.
Right.
The refs didn't announce it on the microphone. We had no idea what that flag was for. I saw some people say that they called it on the defense. That referee threw that flag on the San Diego side of the line. If it's a defensive offsides, you throw it on the Rattlers side of the field. That's a little refereeing little thing for you. You know who it's on those types of plays, on where they throw the flag. He threw it on the San Diego side of things, which tells me he didn't think San Diego was set when he threw that flag. But they never announced it. They didn't talk about reviewing it. We had no idea what they were even reviewing at that point.
Right.
All he said on the review was, we're checking to see if the ball was out on time. Then it was
snapped on time.
San Diego had no more challenges. They had no more timeouts, which means no more challenges. Kevin Guy brings this up in the press conference. So the referees reviewed the play. Is that even allowed? Right. Are you allowed to go to a referee's? I mean, we're getting into rules here that, like, you have to know this rule book because it's stuff that doesn't happen. And this is where I struggle with it because I don't know the rule book that well.
Well, we do not get paid to know the rule book. I will say this. It's caught me off guard over the years because the IFL, the AFL, they'll change rules. Sometimes on the fly. Sometimes in the middle of the season.
Week to week, yeah. One week if something's called a certain way, next week they're like, oh, we don't call it that way anymore.
Right. But the helter-skelter part of it, if, in fact, you got to be set for a full second as an offensive lineman, that definitely didn't happen.
I mean, that's what, guys, like I said, I'm going off of information from people within the thing. But for the officials to go, okay, we're going to go review this. Now, why would they do that? Kevin Guy didn't challenge the play. Like, Kevin Guy had a challenge. He could have challenged if the ball was snapped on time, if there was illegal motion. The referees just decided to go challenge it on their own. And it's like, okay. And all they said was the ball snapped on time, and was there let me find the phrasing here real quick, because they said, was the ball snapped on time and was San Diego set is what they said they were going to go review. 15 minutes later, 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later, they come back and say, ball was snapped on time, they were set. It was so close. I would argue there might not be enough to overrule that in that moment.
Right.
In my opinion. On that.
But they made no comment about the flag.
That's my argument. That would be my argument. What was the flag? Well, you picked it up. What was the flag? Tell the crowd what the flag was. Tell us what the flag was, right? That's where I think the sticking point is. The communication from the referees was piss poor, if I'm going to be critical on that side of it. Because the flag was the key to the whole thing, and they acted like it was never thrown.
And if they come out and say, hey, the Rattlers defensive end didn't have his hand on the ground.
Which is what they said after they reviewed it. Yeah.
Oh, they did say that.
They did say that, yeah. That's why they allowed the touchdown to stand. But again, they didn't go in there. They didn't announce what the flag. If they would have said defensive, illegal defense on the Rattlers, we're going to look at that also. That's what the flag is. And they come out and announce it. Cool. Even better. But folks, officiating 101. If an offensive guy moves or a defensive guy moves, watch your college game and watch your NFL game. The flag is thrown in one spot. It signals what side the penalty's on. They throw it up in the air and it lands on the offensive side or the defense. Not a ton, but enough that you notice. You're like, oh, this is going to be false start on the offense, whatever. And he specifically threw it. If you know where the referees line up at on the sideline, he threw it to the right of him, which was San Diego side.
Yep.
Now, it could be a mistake, but this is where the controversy comes in.
Yep.
They didn't explain it going under the huddle, under the hood, which then makes these questions stand. So we're sitting there for 15 minutes going, what was the flag for? What was the flag for? They acted like the flag was never thrown, and then they come out afterwards and go, oh, it was on the defense. Oh, sorry, our fault. It was weird, but that's what led to all the controversy out there. Then while this is going on, Kevin Guy can't get a replay, so he can't see anything. He's got a challenge left. This is a weird game, man.
And just so you understand, you have to tell them, you can't just say I'm challenging the whole play.
Yeah, you have to tell them
You have to tell because
you saw that earlier in the game.
Because earlier in the game, it was they completed a pass short of the first down marker, and San Diego challenged it.
They challenged the spot. They thought they got the first down.
And
we saw it live, and even Autumn saw it. And Autumn goes, that ball hit the ground.
Yeah. And so but he said he's challenging the spot.
Yes. San Diego was challenging the spot.
Yeah, so they couldn't look at the catch.
Yes.
They say he got to the 5-yard line. I still doubted that.
Yeah, they gave him the first. He did. There's no way he got a first down on that.
And then Kevin Guy looked up at the replay again, and then he challenged, was it a catch or not? It comes back out. No, it wasn't a catch.
I mean, the idea is to get the call right? And you have to do that. We saw it several times this year, which is fascinating, where the coach on one team will challenge something and win it, and then a coach on the other team will challenge something and then win that.
And unlike the NFL, in the IFL, you can challenge just about anything. You can challenge an offensive lineman moving before the snap.
Yeah.
And all that. So
and as I said, their sources have told me, I'll just put it this way, there's a history with the guy that was throwing some of those flags late in the game. He even threw one where I think it was Dalton Snead threw it like 10 rows up into the stands, and he threw his flag at that point. He wanted to call, some penalty on the Rattlers in that moment, and he got overruled by another official that was closer to it. There's a history there between the referees and stuff like that. So, of course, that goes. They rule it a touchdown. Give San Diego credit here. Yelling the play call out, having to get the snap out, happens to find an open guy who comes down with the ball. Give them credit with that chaotic situation as well, right? To get that touchdown to tie the game at that moment. Then they come out and they do it, right? Then you get the extra point. Let's just watch the San Diego game winner here. By the way, ex-Rattler kicking this. Interesting, huh? San Diego game winner here as well.
Fires, pass caught Maldonado. He is hit and stopped shy. But I think he got to the 1. Clock is running. They whistled him down in bounds. 4 seconds, 3 seconds,
so what's 6?
2 seconds.
He's not even really set.
Oh, there was
he goes in
the butt snap, the catch.
Nate Davis got killed.
There's a marker down on the far side of the field.
Yeah, Marker on the far side of the field. So then then after all that, the game winner comes up here. Let's stop watching that depressing thing. What a way to do it here. Let me see if we got this. Oh, okay. Actually, so I messed up on that. They kicked the extra point and won the game. Yes. No time on the clock. Crowd was chanting unsavory things to the referees.
Well, mind you, the thing about why the extra points are so difficult, I mean, you look at the Rattlers. If they made all their extra points, the game's tied.
Yes.
If he made one of his deuce attempts, which means if you kick off and you put it through the uprights, your team gets 2 points.
I was surprised San Diego kept trying him too, and he was missing by a wide margin. He's really good at making those, though.
But we talked about that on the broadcast, the fact that there's really not that big of a penalty. You get the ball on the 20-yard line.
Instead of the 5.
So you don't ever have to worry about a run back.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about guys getting hurt.
And if anything, you're shrinking the field for them to help you out on those long passes and things like that. It is a fascinating maneuver. It was funny, though, the Rattlers' first onside kick, I looked at, there's a couple of media people that hate the onside kick.
Uh-huh.
And I go, an onside kick's coming right here. This was early in the game. Like, you didn't have to do an onside kick. And I go, an onside kick's coming in. She kind of was like, no, there's not. There better not be. And the onside kicked it. And I was like, she was not happy. It was kind of funny from that side. So now let's get to it, right? We get to the press conference, and I'm thinking I'm late because I'm doing all my stuff, packing all my stuff up at the end of that. I'm finishing my final typing and everything. So I'm like, all right, we got to hurry down there. So we're rushing to get down there because I'm like, this might be quick. Guy might just walk in there, say his piece and walk out or something. So we got to get down there. We get down there in plenty of time or whatever. So Kevin Guy comes in. And like I said, I've left questions in most of these as well because we have them as well. This is how it goes. He walks in. It's a small room. He sits down. Guy number 1.
How the game ended. Looked like you're going to pull out American win, and all of a sudden they come back with American.
Richard Oprah right there speaking, by the way.
I know you wanted to see the replay. They didn't really show the replay. What happened? I don't know. What you thought?
I don't know. I mean, our operations was bullshit. I mean, clock guy, the replay guy, they're fired. They won't work with me again. I tell you that right now. I got to have that information so we can make decisions. The flag was thrown, okay, for a false start, and then they went and reviewed it and picked it up, okay. So they were out of review, so they put it on the officials' review, okay. And so, they were out of challenges, so they did official reviews. So, it was just the whole thing was a clusterfuck, okay? And, it just seems like we always get screwed at home at the end, all right? Don't really give a shit if the league finds me or not. Don't care. I'm so tired of the referees being a part of the game. I'm so freaking tired. He threw a flag for false start, then they go over there and pick it up, okay? So, at the end of the day, the clock we thought the clock ran out. I'll go watch the game, see the film, whatever. But I am so tired of these kind of games at our place. Okay, we'll get into the meetings in the off season, and we need to put the whole referee system under review. Okay.
I guess I should have said there's some swearing in this, folks. I apologize. I didn't lead with that. I didn't bleep it out because I want you guys to see what we were seeing in the moment. First question, there's his answer. Here's what's fascinating from a perspective. I put more things into perspective. Earlier this year, there was a Friday night game before the Rattlers played on Saturday, and I think it was Vegas and Bay Area. He came in and criticized the refs from that game.
Right.
So he doesn't just criticize the referees like this on his games. I want to be clear on that. I have video, I should go back and find it, of him criticizing calls, the referees, in other IFL games. Like, it's a point, and he's done it in years past. I've covered this team. It's a point of emphasis for him. Now he's one of however many owners in the league. How much everybody's got to be involved with it and stuff like that. But I will tell you that he criticizes the referees in games not his own that don't affect him as well from that perspective. So he comes in with just all that anger right off the bat. All right, let's go to guy number 2. Here's next.
You weren't able to look at it?
I don't know. I've already talked to the commissioner. He's like, go watch the film, At the end of the day, there was a flag on the play, okay? And then the referees go and look at it themselves, right? So either there was a false start or there wasn't a false start, Okay, you saw it or you didn't see it? Okay, so I mean, I'm so tired of this, and I'm so tired of having the same referees every week at our play. I'm so tired of it. Okay, so I'm done with that. So what's the next question?
It makes you feel real comfortable.
It's so great.
Who's the person that asked the next question?
Well, it's Richard so far. Richard's an old stabled vet. I don't worry about Richard's mentality. There's a couple of young kids in there.
Right.
That I was a little worried. Like, if you ask the wrong question here, I'm gonna get your head bit off, right? Richard Oper just put out 2 hours ago. Because folks, we didn't get out of there till 11 something. Richard Oper put out the Rattlers. Kevin Guy went off on a 49-48 playoff loss to San Diego Strike Force, like I've never seen before. This is a guy that's been covering the Rattlers since '92.
A long, long time.
And for him to say that, putting it out, was fascinating to see. Let's just go to Kevin Guy number 3 here.
When you get back to your team after they just,
what do you think the message is? We're going home, okay? We just worked our ass off for 17, 18 weeks, 20 weeks, whatever it is, and to lose like that, and I'm just fed up with it, okay? It just seems like all these games always happen here at our place, okay? And, we scored a touchdown right before halftime. They call it back, saying hands to the face. Well, you know what? They had their hands all over us all night long. All night long. I bitched about it all year long, about these DBs wrapping our receivers up, They can't touch you after 5 yards. This is not college football. This is professional football. They cannot touch you after 5 yards, okay? And they got their hands on it. We got college referees calling pro games, okay? And that's the problem right now. They don't know the damn difference. Next
question.
Next question. There's an interesting thing that happens here. You'll see when it's my turn to talk. You guys might be able to pick up on it, because I was telling Dale it was kind of like here. So there's a lot of anger, right? And he starts off all calm, and then just builds up as he talks more and talks more and talks more. So here it is, Kevin Guy. Oh, by the way, that was one of the young kids. He asked what you say to your team after the game, and he had said that, and I was all. I expected a worse response, to be honest with you, from that. But and then here's Kevin Guy number 4.
Injury, we had to make a decision. So I thought the kicker kicked great tonight. We tried some deuces. We didn't connect on them. We got that stupid penalty right before halftime when we scored a touchdown, and then we missed that field goal. We missed a extra point. I want to say there was something going on with the hold or the snap or something when we missed that extra point. But clutch with the onside kick. Okay, we executed it. We drove down, took the lead, and they were out of timeouts, and I could have sworn that I saw the clock stop one time when we made a tackle, and I was screaming about that, and then the clock started back, and then it came down to that 1 second, right? So, the operations just piss poor operations.
And like I said, you're seeing this. We're coming back to us between these, but you're seeing this as it's happening.
Yeah.
This is how it's rolling down.
And remember, this is 20 minutes after the game, 30 minutes after the game. Yeah. I mean, not a whole lot of cooling down period.
No, and not if you're calling the commissioner and he's telling you to go watch the film. Like, that's going to piss you off a little bit as well.
But the one thing that, again, in my mind, a little harsh on the operations.
That's where he takes it to a level that I'm sure he's going to.
But let me tell you this, Steve.
Yeah.
This has been going on since they moved to Glendale.
Well, yeah.
This is not the first time that he told me, I sat down and I said, this is what needs to happen. Yeah. We're at home. We should see every stinking replay that you have. And during a couple of those things, they kept on flashing Strike Force versus Rattlers. Strike Force instead of...
That's the go-to video that they're showing.
Instead of continuously just showing that play.
And I'm probably going to upset him here as he watches it. You guys were showing the replay on your broadcast feed.
Right.
Because I paid for the service, as you guys know, and I had it all. We have it on our computer, so we can go back and watch it. We were watching replays on our laptops, and he couldn't get it in the stadium.
Right.
I will say this as well. He hasn't complained about it, at least to us media people, in terms of that stuff.
Right.
But I don't have enough fingers or toes to count how many times the referees have had to correct the timekeepers. It's an ongoing problem. It became a joke on there. Like, even there was at one point last night where I was like, "Oh, we didn't have to reset the clock on that one."
Yeah.
Before all this happened, where it's become like an oncoming joke there. And I'm not gonna. I don't know what's happening behind the scenes, but it's something to make fun of. It's something how we made fun of and stuff like that. But I mean, from his perspective, like I said, it's not good to walk in and say everybody's fired in that moment. That's not the way to handle it. As a boss and stuff like that. But I mean, he's got a point. That needs to be fixed from a home side of it. You hire these people. Your job is to get that done and figure out what's happening from that perspective.
I promise you, if you're in San Diego, if you're in the Bay Area, you're not expecting, if it's a controversial play, to show a whole lot of replays. But when you're at home,
well, if it goes in your well, exactly, yeah. If it goes in your favor, you don't want to see them either. If it's a bad one. So it is Kevin Guy, number 5.
Oh yeah, it's a. I mean, the communication. It was a dog and pony show. I mean, we that was never cleared up when that happened. So whatever. I'm so tired of it happening here in this building.
Okay, now you're starting to see the anger subside, and you're starting to see kind of
resignation.
Yeah, whatever the next word is I'm looking for. Let's put it one there. You're starting to see it a little bit where he's like, all right, I've got my anger out. I've did my initial lash out, said my thoughts. Don't care if I get fined, as he said. And now you're starting to see a little, all right, let me think about this a little more as we go through it. So here is, we'll just keep rolling through. Like I said, this is the whole press conference minus like 2 questions that one was confusing and convoluted, and there was no answer basically from either side. And then another one later on that was just ridiculous from somebody not part of the media. So I can't cut that one out as well. So here's Kevin Guy, number 6.
They competed their ass off.
Talk about his team.
That's another thing we're going to have to deal with, at owners' meetings. Everybody's dealing with injuries, and they go sign 3-4 all IFL players that just miraculously come out of nowhere, okay, to play for them at the end of the season. So, the discipline in this league is bullshit, and it needs to be addressed.
I've heard from sources there's a lot of concern around the league about teams signing people improperly, not between the rules of the IFL, to lead to the season to get players to go there. I've heard a lot of allegations from people throughout the league about the way you picked up injured players in the season. The replacements that the San Diego brought in for this game, they were not just off the bench and hadn't played in a while type of guys, man.
They weren't street guys.
No, they looked like they were playing last week, and they just happened to show up in San Diego. Kevin Guy has talked about this a lot in the media side. I haven't put focus on it because, normally you're like, well, that's internal league stuff, whatever. Right. But you saw it firsthand last night, no doubt about it. And there's some allegations against if you don't know this, it is public, now it's IFL circle, so it's a small circle. The Bay Area coach the owner did some things non-contract wise to get players up to Bay Area. Guess who the owner of San Diego is as well, folks? Oh. He owns both teams right now because he sold San Diego and that owner backed out. So they gave it back to him again. So he owns both teams from that perspective. So Kevin Guy has brought that up before publicly. I've heard it from other people as well as I've talked about it with other people. So it is something out there with certain teams complaining about that. Well, now, to be fair, though, Dale, I have to say this. I'll say this. There's also other people around the league that does complain about the Rattlers basically using the Sugar Skulls as a feeder league. So those rumors are out there too. So just to be fair, it's not just Kevin Guy, or anybody else saying that. There's a lot of allegations between this league in terms of that stuff. I judge it as not a professional league. I'll put it that way.
And so you look at it, and that it's interesting. The Bay Area San Diego ownership group. So the Bay Area owner basically shut down San Diego's home base. So the way IFL works, you supply housing. They put them all up in apartment complexes, give them meals, this, that, and other, because they don't make a whole lot of money.
Yeah. A lot of them have other jobs during the season and whatnot. Yeah.
Supposedly what happened in San Diego, they moved them out of the apartments. They're staying in a hotel. And just so you understand, the championship game will be hosted by Vegas, even though they're the 4th seed, because San Diego's lease or something of that nature
they have a 3-year lease with First Wave, but there is scheduling, or they didn't have the rights to that week, to this weekend or something to that effect. Yes.
And so even though San Diego's a higher seed, they have to go to Vegas and play a game.
Yeah. And instead of playing at First Wave Arena,
yeah.
Up over there in what is that? Coronado, or not Coronado, Carlsbad, or wherever they are, northern San Diego area, from that side. Yeah, just amazing. And then the winner of that game goes to Tucson for the championship game.
Yep.
Okay. I don't know which number we're on, Kobe, but let's go ahead and play the next one here. Number 7.
I don't know. We'll worry about that in a few weeks when we get back to work. I have no clue. It's too early to call that.
What was the strategy on 2 running backs going into the game tonight?
Well, we wanted to run football.
Can you pause it real quick, Kobe?
Football and did it well on them.
Yeah, I want to set this one up. So somebody asked him what his offseason was going to look like in terms of, players. He's got a lot of decisions to make this year on who to bring back. They already changed the roster going into this year and stuff like that. But this is what I was telling Dale. This is interesting to me. Just out of nowhere, you could tell he's getting annoyed with some of the questions, and he's saying the same thing over and over and over, as you've seen there. And he purposely just looks at me and points at me. Next question. And just points at me like, what do you got? So I went with the softball question. Why 2 running backs tonight? He does not play 2 running backs. He does not dress 2 running backs.
I think he did it one other game this year.
And I think it was because of same type of a situation where receivers were hurt, so he brought an extra guy in. But my question on this was simply, you ran the ball a lot, but I don't think they stuck to it very much. When they started getting success in that third quarter, kind of moved away from it.
Yeah.
So I just asked, why the 2 running back set? So here's his answer.
And you see what they did. They dressed like 3 safeties to try to defend the run. So we were like, okay, they've got safeties on the field. We're going to throw the ball on them and try to get some mismatch. And again, they're allowed to have their hands on us all the way down the field. Go look at the field. They are grabbing us and holding us and jerking us and spinning us all the way around after 5 yards. It's illegal, okay? And then they decide they want to be a part of the game on the last second of the game.
It's fascinating because he starts that off just like, oh, you saw what they, and he's like breaking down the play. Right. And then what does he go? It snaps, that goes right back into, but then they're holding us the whole time. San Diego was not going to let the passing game of the Rattlers win this game for them. They were dropping everybody.
Well, no,
most of the game.
Well, and so you look at it that way, but what was interesting is because when we talked to Guy on Sunday, it was an emphasis. We're going to hammer the ball. You take a look at the last week's game against San Diego, said that they did not want to tackle Shannon Brooks in the fourth quarter.
Shannon Brooks didn't even get very many carries.
Very many carries. But you know who did? Varner for San Diego.
That guy was big, too. That guy was a beast.
Oh.
I'll tell you this. I made a note here. Third quarter, I'll tell you right now what time it was. Third quarter, 4:08 left to go. I made a note and said, Rattlers defense does not want to tackle number 5.
Yeah.
That's
Varner.
That was Varner. Especially the secondary. There were some business decisions being made in that game at that point. From there, so I kind of like got the attention away from the end of the game. They're asking that question, and he keeps pointing at me, folks. So here we go, number 8.
Just a curiosity question. When you talk to the season's over, unfortunately, that's happened. Commissioner says, watch the film. Is there a complaint form, for lack of a better term from my side? Like, what's the process from here to wait till owners' meetings to address it, or is there something else to do with it?
Well, I don't know, but there's a lot of things that's going to happen here in the next 48 hours. I can tell you that, I can tell you those guys, they won't be welcome back here, reffing here again. I can tell you that. I don't give a damn. We'll fly guys, 5 guys in from the East Coast every game. I don't care. them reffing in I am so tired of that crew, those same guys involved in it every freaking year. Okay, and then they tell me every year that Arizona crew is one of the best. That's a bunch of crap, okay? That is a bunch of crap. So I'm tired of dealing with it. Here we go.
So
Quit pointing at me, Coach.
Here we go. Well, because you got to tell the story a little bit.
Yeah.
He didn't really know who you were.
No, I keep to myself in there. I don't go out of my way to talk to anybody like that.
And you guys don't go, I'm from the Arizona Republic. This is my
There's
question.
3 of us in, 4 of us in. They're most games. And
then, whatever, last home game.
So great.
You were sitting there with me and some of my friends, and you and Autumn came in, and then he came in. Usually it's a 5-minute conversation with him. He's gone.
Oh, he pulled up a chair next to Autumn. We were best buds. Well, but it was funny because he goes, where does your reporting go out at? And I go, Dale and I work together. And he goes, you're radio partners?
Yeah.
And then it clicked in his mind. You could see it click in his mind at that point, and hopefully we're going to work a little bit with Kevin Guy. He offered a couple of things to us and things like that. But, I'm not one of those reporters where I go about. That's not what my job is. We come on here and talk about our opinions and stuff like that. But that's what I was telling Dale beforehand. Like all of a sudden now he's like just pointing at me. I'm like, oh my God, can I go back to nobody knowing who I am, please? So that's just a little side thing that just kind of makes you giggle there a little bit. But you can kind of see here, right? He's kind of relaxing a little bit and kind of realizing the moment right now. It keeps going. Here's number 9.
Problem tonight? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying there was a lot of problems tonight. There was a problem with the replay. Okay, there was a problem with them going and throwing a flag and then they go and challenge. I mean, there's a million problems tonight. Okay, yeah, we left some plays on field. That's going to have any 2 teams that play. They compete. Okay, they compete. They're going to make some plays. We're going to make some plays, okay? The refs you try not to them become part of the game. And it happens every year at this damn building, okay? Or when we played down in Phoenix.
You got a big one that went your way. Have you got a chance to see
What big one went our way?
The 4th down call. Have you got a chance to see the last play of the game?
That didn't go our way. We lost the game. They went their way.
We lost the game. I'm talking about earlier in the game. Have you got a chance to see the last play of the game? Do you agree with the call?
Oh, I haven't seen it because the damn replay people wouldn't play the damn thing.
That's in your building, right?
In our building.
How hard is it?
Poor production, just what I said.
Kevin Guy, number 10.
How hard is it to play a team 3 times over the course of the last month? Like, is there any difficulty game planning, or is it just business as usual?
No. I mean, we had plays there. I mean, look, they took 7 off the board right before halftime and forced us into a long field goal because of a penalty. It's playoff time. You either call it tight the whole game, or you let them play. What coaches hate is when you're inconsistent on both sides of the ball.
And that is something that it's like an umpire in baseball. You're going to call the outside ball a strike. We'll do it all game long, so the batter's can adjust and the pitcher can adjust.
Yeah.
Don't be changing 3rd inning. Now all of a sudden that's a ball before the first 3 innings is a strike.
And the referees let him play until toward the end there as well. But this is fascinating to me. Look how he's kind of getting rational. Like he's getting back to rationale, right? Coaching mode here. It's fine. Call it both ways. He's not, that anger's kind of passed by him a little bit. He's in that reserved mode again. And that type of mode as that goes by. So, I mean, literally, you could just see this whole digression here, that if you just watch the clips, you think that we were just getting yelled at the whole time, what other people have put out. I'm not bashing them for putting it out. It's fantastic viewing, folks. It really is, in terms of that perspective. But when you put the whole thing in there with the questions and everything, it's a fascinating look into the human mind when something ends that you've worked so hard for in an instant. Right, type of a thing. Here's Kevin Guy, number 11.
Is this the hardest one to swallow?
One thing about my guys, we compete to the end. Okay, we compete to the end, and this has been. I can sit here and tell you over the years. You look at our playoff losses. 2008, my first year here at home, came down to the last play. Okay. 2011, we lost in the championship game, last play. We won it, 12, 13, 14, 15 was the last play up in San Jose, okay, the fumble. Then we came back in 16, played it here, and came down to the last possession. Then 17 we won it. 18 came down to the last play. 19 came down to the last play. 21 championship game, Massachusetts, came down to the last play in overtime. Okay. Then you look at 22, I believe. That was the last play. That was when we thought we had a pass interference on the last play of the game against Naz, and then 23, we didn't play well in that first round game, and then we won it 24, and here we are again. So, I mean, we've had a bunch of heartbreakers at home, and I'm done depending on other people, man. I'm freaking tired of it, and next year we're gonna address it.
Isn't that fascinating? He's calmed down enough, because I can tell you there were some questions. One of the questions I cut out was about a play early in the game. He couldn't recall it. He can normally recall every play, every sequence.
You just saw that. I mean, I don't know what
that's
happened
how much. That's how much.
A week ago.
That's how much he's calmed down in this press conference. If you would have asked him that question 10 minutes ago, he would have been like, right? But that's how much he's calmed down now. He's able to just rattle off that. He's right. He's had some horrible playoff losses.
Yes.
Especially there in Glendale as well, right? So Kevin Guy, number 12, Dale.
I think was that the possession before we went for two and didn't get it. I think we missed a block on that play. So it was back and forth, but it's a tough loss. It's a tough one to swallow, and we'll bounce back. But I'm tired of it. Always coming down in our building. In that, like I said, on that last drive, when they caught the dig route, we tackled them in bounds, and I looked up, and it looked like the clock stopped for a second. Okay, and he was winding the clock. I saw Todd, the ref on our sideline. He was winding the clock. So I'll have to go back and then look at that and look at the clock management. And I thought. We made them use all their timeouts, and we just needed to tackle them inbounds and let the clock run.
So great. That was a great.
This is what's so fascinating to me, Dale. You never see this in the NFL circle. They come out there, they say their points, they get rude or they walk off, and the conference is over. We're literally seeing the emotional impacts of a tough season playing out in front of us. Right there in the media, if you sit there and think about it. The anger of losing that game in that fashion to now the resignation of, all right, now we got to come back next year. We're going to have to come back from it. And then like the regret we're starting to see now. Like, I got to look at the time management again. What did we do wrong here? And we're all seeing it in a 15, 20-minute time span throughout it. And then finally, Kevin Guy, 13. We'll wrap up the press conference. I thought it was important that everybody that's interested see kind of just what it goes through there for a coach without it being clipped out for everybody, without the narrative being out there. Because like I said, there's nothing wrong with people, I'm probably going to do it later, clipping just the anger parts, because that's what everybody wants to see.
Right.
But to me, you don't see this side of stuff here, which is one of the reasons why you watch us here at the main event, is we present this stuff out to you as well. Number 13 here for Kevin Guy.
We're having to find a receiver. And
yeah, I mean he's accurate. He can spin it.
Talking about Nate Davis.
I'm not taking anything away from Nate. I didn't feel like, but I'm gonna look at the bill. I just didn't think they got the ball off. Okay, and I also thought there was a false start. So and Todd saw what I saw. He threw the flag. All right, so I know our D lineman said the center was flinching and trying to draw them off sides, and I'll have to go back until I see the film, but we're getting a lot of information, so I think that we got to address a lot of things in the off season.
It just fascinates me, Dale, just how we went from that. If he would have come in with the words that the last 4 we played you, if he would have come in with that tone, talking that way, you wouldn't be getting all the clips today, 1, but 2, that's what you expect coaches to do, right? When they come in there and be more rational from that point. So we got it. It just took us a while to get to that point with all the questions as it went on. It's just fascinating.
So many things go through your mind, as he's up there talking. I'm sure he's also wondering, as he's the whole season will flash in front of you and think about 20 weeks ago and everything this team has been through and injuries. Again, last week against San Diego, they lose 2 starting wide receivers in warm-ups.
Yes. Not even in the game.
In warm-ups.
Yeah.
And all the things they overcame and great start, ugly middle, kind of okay down the stretch. And
I think you just described me, Dale.
And then yeah, that's true. Didn't even realize that. And then you go, boy, everything was set up for us because if they win that game last night, championship games, here at home, they don't have to leave Arizona to win a championship.
Games in Tucson,
And it all ends in the blink, literally the blink of an eye.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fascinating thing. But I don't know. Like I said, the only thing that I consider, I'm sure even today he kind of wished that he had that back where he said everybody was fired and that type of talk. I don't know. Knowing Coach Guy, maybe not. But a lot of people, I think, would kind of be like, all right, I shouldn't have said that in that moment. That's not fair to the people to blast them like that. But at the same time, that's going. Make no mistake about it. That's going to be fixed this offseason.